Three, two, one. And hey, everyone, welcome to the report here. Do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and subscribe to Colby's OnlyFans.
We're running it up. We're running it up. We're trying to get to 1 million subs. You know what I'm saying?
So today we're gonna dive into something that just literally pretty much just happened this week, I think,
Hmm.
and that is Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the next um
Doctor Doom.
yeah. So let's see here. We got Robert Downey Jr., Doctor Doom. I think he's replacing Jonathan Majors here, right?
Well, he's not replacing Jonathan Majors in the sense that Jonathan Majors was supposed to be the big bad villain for the entire Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
And because of his controversy, I think what is happening is that they're moving off of Jonathan Majors and moving towards Doctor Doom.
I think it's like a two-pronged approach. So not only they're doing that to address the kind of black eye that situation happened, even though it's like, we can question whether or not it was his fault or situational or how it could have been handled, but also the struggling path that the whole MCU is going on. They need a heavy hitter to kind of get it back on course. So who else
So
but
before Ro dives too deep into this, let me kind of get everyone caught up on what happened. Sorry, but basically what's happened is Marvel came up with the news. Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be like the new big bad. Doctor Doom, he's gonna be. So I don't know how they're gonna do this with the timeline or whatever. Maybe he an alternate dimension he became Doctor Doom or something. But back like his first appearance was 2008, and that was
Marvel's Iron Man.
Iron Man?
yeah, it was Iron Man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For some reason, I think I was about to say the Hulk. But anyways,
No, no, no.
but anyways, 2008, it was Iron Man, and then he kind of had that farewell where he died in the Avengers, and it's like, okay, later, bro. And since then, we all kind of like had the understanding that he was gone. So, for those of you who don't know, Doctor Doom, aka Luka Doncic's dad, um, Doctor Doom is like he's like one of the most like famous baddies.
Victor Van Doom, foot dive.
Hold on. I'm not gonna tell you about Doctor Doom. Coley, I know that's your boy. Tell them, give a 1 minute breakdown of Doctor Doom. Let's go.
The greatest villain probably Marvel has, one of the brilliant minds, probably the only person not to really take an L in the MCU, really,
What do you
because
mean the
he,
Fantastic Four whooped his, I've seen him get set on fire by the
yeah,
Human
but
Torch. What are you
that's
saying?
that's
That's an L.
but I mean that's probably the only like in the comic adaptations he's so much more powerful than his like, on-screen persona.
Yeah.
So realistically, Doom is the man. Like he is kind of similar to Darkseid, where he runs his own nation. He is literally one of the most brilliant minds in the country, and his technology either trumps or mimics Reed Richards. So he's a guy. He's the guy.
So I have a quick question, just kind of like to give more of an input or more filler for the audience here. How would he kind of compare to like Kang the Conqueror? So Jonathan Majors guy.
I
Like,
mean, he's intellectually on point,
yeah.
physical and weapons on point. The realistically where Kang kind of has the edge to some degree is the time travel.
Yeah, and the advanced technology too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things where Kang has the advantage of because he's from the future. But if you were put Doctor Doom into that same scenario,
Yeah. So I guess my question next to Ro is, do you think Marvel's just trying to get rid of black people?
shots fired.
No, like, do you?
No, you know what? That's a serious question.
It really is.
Because it's just like, they were quick to get rid of him
Hmm.
and all the controversy. They allowed ScarJo to kind of finish her stuff, even though she had a whole thing where I'm like, I'm gonna sue you, baby.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It's just tough because it's a Disney effect, right? Like whenever an uh actor or actress gets into some kind of trouble, it's usually like, all right, break the glass, pull the cord, like that kind of stuff, get rid of them because they don't want to be associated with it. It's kind of the same thing that happened to what's his name? Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Jack,
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, right? Like he had his Amber Heard situation, even though that wasn't him. They're replacing him on Pirates of the Caribbean with some stupid replacement. I don't even know anymore. So yeah, it's kind of hard because like that was an opportunity for Kang to be gender racified to it without it being a major default to the story, and kind of having that pull. Because
did we really need more black people in Kang? Because it's like we had Black Panther, all of Wakanda, then like they tried to turn Captain America black, but that just failed.
Anthony Mackie's, he's doing okay.
Yeah, but like every time I see him, I see Eminem just like busting his ass on stage, and
Green Mile. Oh, this guy kills
8 Mile,
yeah.
But how are the fans kind of like taking this? Like, are they like, yeah, this is a good thing? Are they like, oh no, they're bringing back Robert? Like, what?
No, they're saying yeah. Because realistically, Robert he's got great attachment to the entire Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
Well, like his appeal, right? Like during his period of being Iron Man, they actually redesigned the comic book version of Iron Man to look similar to Robert Downey Jr., right? So that kind of synergy between all the mediums helped solidify his character. And he does have an underdog story because he was in some trouble beforehand, which is ironic, right? He kind of had all that.
That's why it's perfect.
Right. So, it kind of having him come back, but as we were stipulating before we started recording and during it, it's just like I feel like they're taking advantage of his star power. Like Robert Downey left on purpose because he wanted to pursue his acting career. He didn't want to be typecast. That's the same reason why they're struggling to get Chris Evans back on board, because he's kind of like,
Chris Evans Thor. Like, let's be real.
Or not Chris Evans.
Captain.
Yeah, he's Captain America. So like, they keep trying to get him back. Like some of the versions of Endgame was him coming back as normal, not old man Cap.
Yeah.
Right? In order to keep on the legacy. But he's just like, no, I want out. Please write me out of the story. I don't want to die, but, whatever. Because obviously if he died, it wouldn't have the same gravitas as Robert Downey Jr.'s character. So Robert wanted to leave. And there's been many times where they've offered him to come back. He was supposed to be considered for Doctor Strange. And that one to come back as the superior Iron Man. He was supposed to come back in Thor: Love and Thunder, but they were just like, no. And I think after he won his awards and stuff like that for Oppenheimer and was able to act, do Doolittle, do all his side projects, he's like, you guys know I can act. I'm a good actor. I validated myself. Now I can come back because Disney pretty much Hadoukened him a whole bunch of cash and just like, take our money, come back, please.
You got to think about it. He's got one of the best 10 years in Marvel history. So like for them, it's a cash cow. Like it's the perfect situation. You might as well insert the meme right there. I'm the dude playing the dude. Who is the other dude? How you gonna hate on that? Like he's literally the perfect guy because his star power lands to it. He's got a great ability to blend and make himself that character. And he is intelligent enough where you believe him when he speaks. So him playing that Doctor Doom arc where he have to be a mad intelligent character, realistically, Doctor Doom is just a psycho Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So why not get Tony Stark?
I wouldn't call him a psycho. Doctor Doom is troubled, but that's only because he's trying to save his mom, right? Like when you're messing around with magic and the mystic arts and all that sort of stuff to try and do something, and he has a noble pursuit. He's trying to protect the well-being of his nation, Lackberia, and he's supposed to sit there and do all this other stuff. It's kind of one of those things, but yeah, and that and the fact that he burnt his face, but that's a side story. So
I'm gonna kind of hop in on this just to kind of keep us on a roll here. So back to Jonathan Majors.
Who?
And
kidding.
So Jonathan Majors, they kind of erased him from the timeline. So he got erased from the timeline, and then the other person who kind of got erased here was Blade. So they seem to be canceling or pushing back the Blade project, and my boy here just kind of
Ali, yeah. Yo, he's not complaining. He got a bag of money to be contracted with Marvel, and he hasn't had to put out
Not
yet.
once.
So, like, bro, he's like, yo, push me back into my contract's done. I don't care, because you have two choices. You either let me go scot-free or re-up.
But I was gonna say, kind of like Blade started like the modern day MCU.
Can I
as
drop
we
a
know it
spoiler?
now, and then now it's like Blade's being canceled, and it's like the MCU's dying. Like,
There's a
what's
reason for it. Can I give a spoiler?
yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's because Ryan Reynolds reached out to the original Blade and actually managed to get him in the new Deadpool. So realistically, Wesley is already on film, already right now, walking around with a silver goatee,
Mhm.
ready to be Blade once again. And the amount of interest and the amount of fandom that has happened from that moment, because realistically, Marvel owes their entire franchise to Blade.
Yeah,
So realistically, why not reward the original Blade? And the reboot was going to be engrossed in controversy already, just due to the fact that half the people were saying that Wesley Snipes should have at least had a cameo or at least had something to do with that movie.
well, my whole thing is like the old Blade was like beloved, right? Like people like
Yeah.
really liked Blade, and like you can't really say too much about that, because the old Blade compared to what we were gonna get, kind of where Marvel is now, like I don't think the quality would have been the same.
I think, in addition, Kevin Feige and the rest of the Marvel staff has a challenge on their hand, but with how Deadpool went down, no spoilers, don't worry. It gives them the opportunity to amalgamate a lot of stuff, because how the storyline happened and Loki kind of trusted this. It's like multiple things can be happening at the same time.
Yep.
And if they want to amalgamate the worlds together, collapse them on top of each other, like Blade could be fucking around all these years, and then all of a sudden it's like the worlds collide, and then all of a sudden it's just like, all right, there's vampires here. I got it. You know what? Like throw the knife, this, that, da, da, da. It's fine. Like,
It's actually in the comics, God of Stories, Loki.
Yeah, my whole thing is like the new Blade or old Blade. Wesley is old now. Like, how do you bring him back?
Simple.
Easy.
The same way they did. They gave him remember, he's supposed to be an eternal vampire. So realistically, as long
Like,
as
are we talking about Wesley Snipes playing the role, or are we talking about Blade at his current age?
Well, Wesley Snipes old as shit. Like, I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, but you know what? How old is he? Hold on. How old is he? How old is he? You have him on screen. Look him up.
Okay,
How old is Wesley Snipes?
Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
let's look it up while you keep talking.
Yeah,
I'll-
because like Hugh Jackman.
about to say,
Like,
there's a bunch
like-
of 60-year-olds on film, bro.
No, but there's jokes like it's a reoccurring like punchline where like Deadpool's just like, it's just like, we got Hugh Jackman back and Disney's gonna have you working till you're 90, right? So like it is plausible that they can come when it comes to digitization, special effects. Like, come on,
Wesley Snipes is 62.
That's light
He's the
work,
same age
bro.
as Morgan Freeman,
Bro, that's light work. How many Rocky movies? How many
Is he
Rocky
really?
movies have we gotten?
No, Morgan Freeman took
I was
100.
about to
about to
say,
say.
like, what are you saying? Morgan Freeman's voice is older than 62.
Like I was about to be like, yo, black don't crack, but like Morgan's very seasoned,
Like,
so I understand.
Morgan came out the womb looking 60, bro.
Stop.
Sylvester Stallone, holy shit.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
See,
damn.
what I mean? And he just finished doing the Expendables.
Expendables. Like, what are you talking about?
Like a couple-
Expendables,
couple
everybody
years-
in that movie needs a geriatric pass, though.
A couple
They're
years
all
ago,
70 and up.
he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So like, bro, like, yo,
What are you
bring back
talking about?
Done. Bring back Wesley.
77. Like, everybody in that movie are all.
He's
in
gonna
their
come back for
70s
another
and
Terminator
60s,
movie,
bro. Like, what are you talking
Like-
about?
So I take it back. I take it back. Like, I didn't.
Wesley can go on, and you know what? They brought back Luke Skywalker in freaking Mandalorian, Mark Hamill, and he did do the stand-in. He actually stood in a couple of scenes as his character, but they did the whole combination deepfake and de-aging and all that foolishness. So they can easily do that for Blade. They can do that, or stunt doubles, and then kind of like, bro, the amount of CGs that's in Deadpool, like.
Bro,
the walking scene that they use in the commercial is completely CG'd. The fact that Hugh Jackman, his arms are CG'd onto him.
So there's Mark Hamill.
So like,
So they did the face.
See, exactly, and
I mean, you guys gotta think about it this way. They don't even have to write the story where he's the lead. Like, for it to actually made any real amount of sense, they could have put him in a Whistler character. They could have put him into a mentoring the new group of vampire hunters.
See,
they could have done a million different ways. They didn't have to just make it be a traditional Blade movie where Blade's on screen killing everybody all the time.
Honestly, the thing is that the whole Marvel thing, albeit they're the pioneers, they're suffering from superhero fatigue, same way as the DC is suffering from their stuff, and it's just one of those things where Disney, if you're listening, I know you have movies for days because you're bringing back silly stuff like, you know, Rapunzel, and you're doing another Lion King movie, Mufasa, which
Nobody
I'm
asked
just
for.
like, bro, why are you doing that? Lilo and Stitch 2, like, you need to calm the fuck down. But with that being said, they're in a position where 2 out of the 3 of their powerhouses, which is Marvel and
Action's been there.
Right. So exactly.
In fact, they hated each other on the first movie.
They hate each other now.
That's why it was hilarious.
Like Ryan Reynolds, it's his Canadianness that makes him likable. The fact that he's such a chipper guy, you kind of want to punch him in the face and give him a hug at the same time, because it's just like, bro, how can you be so chill? But at the same token, his ability to come back and say, I can make things happen. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people gravitate behind him. And that's how he was able to get like Hugh Jackman back on board. He was able to get Chris Evans to come on board and do Johnny Storm. He was able to get Wesley Snipes to come on board because he called Wesley and he was just like, yo, do you want to do this? And he was like, and he's just like, no, seriously, you're coming back as Blade. And he's just like, you know what, bet. So it's one of those things where it's just like his track record got it back on track, because like Disney couldn't care less, and now they're sitting there and be like, oh wow, like we have all the toys to play around with, why not? But yeah, like these scenes and stuff like that with in the movie with Hugh Jackman's forearms, it was all digitized.
But I mean, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
You could see it if you're watching it. If you
Let me find it. Let me see if I can find it.
I mean, is it coming to the point where the childness of like Ryan Reynolds is the reason why this franchise worked where all the other franchises have failed? Is it the fact that he's such a huge fan of comics, and the fact that he is so authentic to the source material is one of the reasons why like they didn't add a bunch of woke elements to the movie?
No. It's Ryan Reynolds himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like him being.
Well, okay, fine. If you're gonna say childlessness, but I rather say it's his genuineness.
Yeah, I
because
can see that.
He every time he does a project, he does a project for project's sake. He's not sitting here and saying I'm an A-list actor, I'm worth this, I'm worth that, and he's proven it. Like the first Deadpool, he did not make any money. His salary went towards his staff, and he even paid his. See, so they redid the arms and the scenes.
Hold on, you watch this. Boom. That's so. I think that's the
that's Jackman right there.
That's the Jackman right there.
But that's an older. That's the Wolverine. Yeah. That's not Deadpool.
And then here, you can kind of see it.
Yeah,
that's all suit.
So he was wearing the yellow suit.
Yeah.
But they photoshopped his arms to make him comic book accurate, because he shows his arms.
His arms aren't this big.
No. We're talking about when there's a scene where he doesn't have any like.
Yeah. So when you guys watch the movie, trust me, there's a lot of scenes because he's not wearing.
Let me see if I can find the one quick. Let's do a quick scan. Continue.
Yeah. See, like there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that scene.
That's the one we're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, so if you watch that scene, you'll know, like
Man, that's Hugh Jackman's regular body.
But it was photoshopped on. I'm telling you, he's wearing the full costume like he is in the other scene, but they're like, yo, we want to show his arms, because there was no situation where he ripped off the sleeves.
There's none.
Bro, there's so much there's so many continuity errors in this stupid movie, and they didn't even go back on it. Trust me.
Nobody cares.
In the same scene, fuck it. You guys have gotten this far. Spoiler alert. In the same scene when they're fighting all all the Deadpools, he starts off with the golden
Yep.
guns, and then he starts fighting them, and it's his regular guns. And they don't explain it.
They don't say a damn thing.
It's a hand
It's
wave.
a multiverse. He doesn't need to explain it. It's like Loki.
Loki, my head said the multiverse to rot.
Yeah, bro.
So, anyways, but yeah, no. Ryan Reynolds' relationship with people gets him stuff.
Yeah.
He has that star power to go in and say, hey, I want to work on a project. And he just has to be like, come on. And that's it. And it's just like, whatever. So, like, you know, Disney let him kind of do whatever he wanted to do with this movie because they know it's gonna get a lot of money, which it did, right? Like they can't say shit to him now. Like he is Marvel Jesus,
and he's proven himself. His writing, his action.
It's all CG, folks.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I mean, it's
hold on, let me get us focused up here because we were originally talking about Jonathan
I know,
Majors and how they burned up the spot, and then
That's why he got
pulled through to shit, bro.
That's why he got replaced because he's forgettable. Sorry, Jonathan, but you know what? This movie wasn't for you.
Okay, 30 seconds, both of you guys. How did he do in Ant-Man Quantum Verse of
Yo,
whatever?
get the fuck out of here.
Nah, all right, Effin, what do you think he did there?
I mean, it was a decent portrayal. The headache where most of it is the ending's a little bit like way too quick and not thought out. And not to mention they just wrapped up the movie without much explanation. So there are things that led.
He did better in the Rocky movie.
Yes.
I rate his performance in that one when he was like the underdog come up kind of thing. That's the kind of role that showed his gravitas. Two things. I think he was underutilized when it came to Marvel. They took him as a joke. They didn't give him a chance to kind of do his full acting chops. Mind you, he did okay with Loki.
Yes.
Because when he was sitting there and having that tit-a-tat with stuff,
Timely.
you know, it kind of showed his acting ability. But in Quantumanium, they didn't allow him to flex his muscles.
Well, they only gave him 3 emotions in that movie. They either gave him pure rage, they gave him kind of an inquisitive nature, and they gave him kind of like this.
Kind of a joke character, especially when he started losing his mind. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a temper tantrum."
Yeah.
Like, bro, like that's not you. It should have been like a calculator, being like, "All right,
exactly.
I see you. You know what? I have a contingency for a contingency," and that's the thing, right? So the way he was written also allowed him to be forgotten. Right. So it's unfortunate that all this situation happened. It kind of goes back to the whole thing. And, you know, since our show kind of deep dives in a lot of relationship type stuff, like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you need to check your feelings and you also need to check the other person's feelings. You need to have transparency in the conversation. You need to know where it is. One of the things that often plague a lot of people in stardom, especially people of color, is the fact that you engage in a relationship and you kind of have this dichotomy. It's just like, oh, I'm the one who brings the shit. I'm the prize, which fine. But you also need to know that like both parties need to know what's at risk. Like when you're a regular Joe Schmo like us, like today, not like future us in 5 years when we're making like
money,
right? But your actions impact. Look at all the famous people that when people became privy to your dirty laundry, it destroyed your career. So it's one of those things where you need to be like, and like, I'm not saying prenup or anything like that, even though you probably should do, but it's just like, you guys should have conversations of being like, hey, you know what? We're at this level of stardom that our actions kind of impact us. We should be able to deal with things internally before they become something that completely destroys our bread and butter, because how do you recover? Right? Especially when you don't have that star power. It's just like, get the fuck out.
But I think the problem with being a celebrity in those situations is the fact that you don't get to think in the moment. Like, i.e. Jonathan Majors, he's in a situation where he's running from, like, that's what got him in trouble. That's what brought him trying to separate himself. Like, had they stayed in the car, 90% of the world probably doesn't even find out what happens.
Yeah, but that's...
Had he not jump out the car and trying to get away from her to try and separate himself from that situation...
But we can also talk to how people deal with their problems. So if he was in a situation where he's just like, I'm not ready to deal with this, which he tried to do, he tried to remove himself from the situation, and your partner doesn't recognize that that's the kind of I'm not going to say tactic, but that's your coping mechanism to deal with problems and that kind of stuff, then it makes it difficult. So she was in a constant chase and pursuit and being like, no, we need to resolve this now. And obviously, if you're not being reciprocated with how you deal with problems, things are going to flare up. Her body language, her attitude, her actions solidified the fact that she wanted to resolve the situation at that time. But Majors was like, this is not the time or place, right?
Like, look at that shot right there. Look at the 50-yard dash my man is putting on right now to get out of there, bro.
That's some Usain Bolt run.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a full, bro. He's full stride.
He should have tried out for the Olympics then. He could have been Team USA.
Use that on the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Hey. Bro, it's like if you watch the video, like there's no need to deep dive in because the fans can automatically they can do their own work, but it's just like I'm a person who wants the smoke does not run like that away from another person.
But again, that goes back to the responsibility that you have in a relationship. A lot of people engage in relationships because of the fact that just like, yeah, I got this. This is my baddie. This is my boo. I got the money. And especially when you reach a celebrity. So I'm talking to you, Will Smith, because I still have issues with your bullshit and the whole like keep my name out of motherfucking mouth. Even though, you know what, Deadpool made a good callback to that. You know what, I had to give props to how they brought that back. So anyways, when you're in a position of influence, you also have to look at what you're able to lose. The higher you are in the castle, the farther you have to fall. So, have those conversations. And even when it comes to your thing, it's just like, hey, like we're celebrities, we have to be mindful. How are we going to deal with stuff? My ways of dealing with stuff is this. Your ways of dealing with stuff was that. You know what? Let's meet in the middle or have a platform where we can have discussions or be able to deal with stuff. I know it sounds corny, but that's your fiscal responsibility because at the end of the day, your behavior impacts your bag. Your celebrityness is transparent. And with these things called like telephones and instant media and social media, like we know about your business, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I talked about that in our previous podcast, so go check that out.
Right here, I found the picture of Robert Downey Jr. and Will Smith.
Right. So, like, it's one of those things where they're part of a club, and a lot of people came and talked to Will Smith after this event. Robert Downey, Denzel Washington, a lot of people came back and said, hey, bro, I understand you're going through some shit. I wouldn't take that either. But when it comes to how you project yourself, especially being a man of means and a man of color, you have to be conscious. And I don't want to sit here and people being like, you know what, because he's black, he's supposed to do. No, it's just one of those things where not you're black, white, blue, purple, whatever. You kind of have to be mindful in how you project yourself. It's just like, it's just as simple. Like, you want people to take you seriously for a job interview, or you go somewhere and you wear a suit. Why? Because the social construct dictate that we conduct ourselves in a particular manner based off of our environment. So again, when you're in that state, you have to be conscious about how you can behave. It's really that simple.
I mean, but I'll put a caveat to that though. The problem with a lot of these celebrities is that you and I are allowed to be human in at our realest moments. Like,
No, we're not, because it's just like, bro, if something happened with your girl and you're in the middle of Toronto and you start wilding out, the man's would come for you same way.
Coley had a good point.
No.
We're not in the news.
Yeah. No, that's my point. Like, when we do something, we're allowed to be normal. We're allowed to make that mistake, go to jail, ruin our life, get rid of everything.
Yo, your life is disposable like that, not my fam.
No, let me finish.
We're too old to restart, fam.
No, but let me finish. I mean, in the sense that we're allowed to completely destroy who we are as people, and the public perception of who we are does not change, because when we move from that area, the group of people who knew we made those mistakes change.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, as a celebrity, you are judged by the world, so you don't get a do-over. Like, in the sense of Jonathan Majors, like, there's a group of people who are basically saying that he was right for standing up for himself and getting out of there.
Okay.
But there's also a group of people who are literally saying that no matter what he did, he was going to lose that contract. But because the second that argument became public, he was at a loss.
And you know what? As they say in Avatar, I see you, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, and there's some truth to that.
Which Avatar did they say that in?
The second one. That's their whole like.
Yeah.
They console people. So it's like I see.
I thought you were bringing up Airbender for a second.
Oh yeah. Disney's Avatar, not Nickelodeon. Anyways, so I hear you on that aspect, and there's some truth in that, but then that's what the celebrityness kind of reinforced. So it's kind of like an average person gets the fuck up and they do whatever they want. So I'm rich. I can throw money at it. So I should be able to wild out. In worst case scenario, I can hire a bunch of lawyers. No. At all levels, we should be conscious in how we conduct ourselves, whether or not we're at the bottom ring and how we conduct ourselves in public and whatever. Because it's just like, I've had situations personally, you've told me, where it's just like I've acted out with people and it's just like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I've seen Rohan. There's certain people that kind of get at him and all that sort of stuff. So then what's the difference? Right? You, as one of my closest friends, you're privy to that kind of stuff, and you're like, that's not becoming of you. That's not how you should be conducting yourself. You know, I see you in this light. You shouldn't allow that person to influence you in a negative way. So amplify that more when your wellness, like, bro, like Rugs, you're telling me if you had a situation with your missus, which you probably wouldn't because she's a sweetheart, but whatever. If you had a situation and that got back to like your coworkers or workers at work, they'd be like, yo, we're not too comfortable with you working with our organization anymore. It's plausible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Right?
So I'm going to interrupt that thought process quickly.
I know, we went so far off.
Keep us on track quickly. So guys, first of all, if you got this far in the video,
Shout out to
bless your soul. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your brudgeons, all that stuff. But I'm going to throw a crazy scenario here. All right, guys, listen up. Here's my scenario.
Dr. Doom versus
Dr. Doom versus Kang. 2 minutes. Is Marvel missing an opportunity here? Like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Boom! If we saw them both on screen the same time, they try and team up against the Avengers. I'm talking the good Avengers, not the garbage ones with the new Captain
tier?
America. Yeah, none of those guys. And that girl who stretches her fists and stuff. No.
You were so hating Falcon America. Wow. Like, what's wrong with you?
No, wow. Or Mara Kang or whatever.
Oh, Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel, yeah.
What that girl, yo. I'm talking the good Avengers. We're bringing back Thor. We're bringing back Hulk. We're bringing back Cap. We're bringing the Guardians too.
Even Black Widow with her little stingers.
You know what?
Hawkeye.
We'll bring back T'Challa, but we'll somehow spin it in a circle where he could be what's a Killmonger. You know, we'll bring the people back. We have a chance right now.
Well, technically, they're gonna.
Go ahead, finish, because
I mean, it's one of those things where they have the ability to still do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that they separated from Jonathan Majors now only because of press, they could have done the exact same thing that they did with Johnny Depp. Wait till the trial's over, wait till people care about the sting of it, and offer him his job back.
Yeah.
It is a possibility.
I agree with that. So, Jonathan, if you get a chance, if Disney comes back and says, you know what, we're going to give you a baby bag to come back in Secret Wars, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, because at the end of the day, we all know that Disney is a cash cow and they usually have people set up. Yeah, I know their regulations are really restrictive and you can't really get involved with other projects at the same time. But for fan service, if you want to be immortalized in the ethos of fan, like nerddom, do it. I recommend you come back if you get an opportunity to do that. Not only will it be a good underdog story, but you know what? Why are you gonna say no to free money?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all like, bro. If they put in Avengers Doomsday, right, and Secret Wars for sale right now, I'd buy tickets.
Yeah.
Just on lock.
Facts.
Right? I'd probably buy like 5 tickets.
And in fact, the fact that they have already set up Secret Wars in the Nick Fury story means that, Jonathan, you still got a shot. You are the villain in that story. The Skrulls don't have the Skrull entire timeline means you're coming, bro.
And my thing is, we could turn Jonathan Majors into the Black Tom Cruise, where every movie he runs.
Tom Cruise. I really think I'm Tom Cruise.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're for real. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time. Thank y'all for showing up.
Peace out, man.